Happy Father's Day, Facebook Live. I hope everybody is out enjoying the beautiful day, celebrating your dad or your husbands who are dads or your friends who are dads. Or if you don't have anybody to celebrate in your life, I hope you're doing something fun for yourself today. My dad's been gone for like 15 years, I think, something like that. I think he died in 2003, I think. My sister would know for sure. She's the keeper of dates in the family. Anyway, so my dad's been gone a long time, and I'll have a warning here for you, a flash warning. This may sound cold and heartless, what I'm going to talk about, but do me a favor and listen to the whole thing, and see if any of this strikes a chord with you. So I did not have a great relationship with my dad when he was alive, and neither one of my parents actually. And from their example, I did not know how to love somebody unconditionally. And a lot of people don't, honestly. We are a very conditionally loving society. It's usually something like, you have to do all these things for me so I can love you appropriately or love you back. You have to love me first and then I'll love you back. And I've been that way, so I'm not pointing fingers. But that's kind of the point of my post, was that growing up in the house that I grew up in, I really didn't have any examples of unconditional love. And I feel that now that my dad's gone, it's not because he's gone, but that's part of the story. All the work that I've done, especially the last few years, I'm now able to speak of and think about my dad in a loving way. And he's actually come to me through other people. I've gotten lots of messages, and one pretty recently actually, through other people from my dad. And of course, now that he's passed on and he's on the other side, we have a great relationship. Because I've learned how to forgive since he's died. I've learned how to love. I've learned how to appreciate. And it's made things a lot easier for me. There's a lot of shit that happened with my parents growing up, and a lot of stuff that my dad did, and a lot of stuff he didn't do that was tough. And the way that my dad died, and all of this is not meant to make you feel sad. If you're listening to this, I don't want you're going to feel whatever you're going to feel. But this is not meant to make you sad. So listen through. There, again, could be something in here that helps you through a tough time, because I know I'm not the only person out there who's lost a parent, or you could be facing that situation sometime soon. So didn't have a great relationship when he was here. It was very, very cold and very distant. And my dad was alcoholic, and the last year of his life, I did not speak to him. He had gone into a treatment program and promptly started drinking again after the program, and had denied my request for him to come down and stay with me, for me to try to help him out. And so I shut my door to him. I just couldn't do it anymore. And he died about a year and a half later. And he was all alone. He died of a massive heart attack, complications from drinking. And it took me a long time to let go of the guilt and the pain around that I gave up on him, essentially. I couldn't watch him do that to himself anymore. It was too hard for me to try to create this relationship with my father. I didn't know how, and I especially couldn't do it for the both of us. I needed him to participate a little bit, and he wasn't. So when he started drinking again, I couldn't do it anymore. I had to shut down, and I had to protect myself. And I think at that time, both my siblings weren't speaking to him either. So he ended up passing away by himself and all alone. But that is the life that he created for himself. And it's, again, taking me all these years to realize that it was not my responsibility to do anything for him, and that everything happens for a reason. And for me, holding on to the blame and the shame and the guilt and all that stuff of how everything happened wasn't helping anybody. And I do believe personally now that my dad, as soon as you cross over, you leave all that negativity behind anyways. So he wasn't looking down on me from the land of the spirits, judging me and hating on me. So why was I doing it to myself? And when I was able to finally, there wasn't like a moment that I, like done, check, I've forgiven myself, but I just kind of started realizing maybe in how I would talk about him that I'd forgiven him and forgiven myself. And I feel now that I can love him unconditionally. His memory, it is what it is, it wasn't good stuff, but what are you going to do now? It's gone, and the more I try to dredge it up and talk about it and rekindle it, doesn't help me now. So I've moved on from trying to figure out why my dad was the way that he was, and forgave myself for how I dealt with that situation. Because even then, like, you look at it, what somebody told me once, like, not all of us have great parents. And I forget in what therapy or program or book or whatever I was doing, where somebody said, imagine your parent as like a 4 or 5-year-old kid when they were probably at that crucial point in their life where they probably weren't getting a lot from their parents, and started the trend and started to create the person that they ended up being, down the road, and the parent that they turned out to be for me. And that really helped me. It doesn't make it right, doesn't make it better, but it helped me in thinking it wasn't that my parents were doing anything to me, but that's just who they were, and they were doing the best that they can, and we all got a certain, the raw end of the deal on it, or, whatever, however you want to look at it. But it helped me forgive so I could move on. And so it's interesting that, when I don't really miss my dad, because I didn't have a relationship to miss. There wasn't a lot of good stuff with my parents for me to now miss. And I got like really dark in my phone for some reason, but oh well, it's gonna have to be what it is. We didn't have a lot of relationship for me to miss now, so I don't really miss my dad. And I did go through a long period of time where that, like, why did I get the crappy parents kind of thing? But I dropped that too, because that's just heavyweight. It's just heavyweight, and there's just no room for it. And there's no benefit to hanging on to that kind of thinking. So just kind of let it go. And every so often it may creep back up a little bit, but for the most part, I've been able to relinquish all of that heavy burden and just move on. So that's it. I just kind of wanted to pop in and share that. I hope you guys are having wonderful times with your dad and creating lots of good memories. And if you are having troubles, if you are having difficulties with a parent, not just your dad, I hope that you find a way to work through that and learn how to forgive and to and accept forgiveness as well. It could go either way. And I guess just maybe try to think of it that way. Like, your parents are just doing the best that they can. And we're all trying to feel loved. We're all trying to feel seen, heard, felt, and cared for. And our parents don't have any more tools than we have, usually. But they might be willing to acquire them if you help them. And I know that's not necessarily our job as kids to help our parents, but does it really matter? Like, if you want a better relationship with your parents, can't you do some of the work? I don't know. It's just a question I'm posing. Not saying I have all the answers, but anyway, that's it. I just wanted to come on real quick and say that if you're struggling with your parents, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that you find a way to work through it, and I hope that you take care of yourself in the process, and always consider forgiveness, and have a beautiful day, have a beautiful Father's Day, and go hug somebody. Go hug your dad, hug your dog, hug a friend. Hugs are great. I love hugs. I'm going to go hug some people right now. Have a beautiful night. Talk to you later. Bye.